And then this pair has possibly got bleach on it. Might also be what did we have the other day? Mexican style chowder. By Mexican style, it just means they used Mexican spices in the chowder. It was delicious. I would say delightful and delicious at the same time. It came out weird, but I clearly might have splashed some up meat and didn't notice. Then went to work the next day, splashed bleach again. So now I'm unsure whether it was the chowder or if it's more bleach because they're a similar colour on these trousers. I might only have one pair of trousers left. I ordered some more. I have just had 4 separate emails and then 4 fucking separate notifications from Amazon that my jeans are on the way. 1 for each pair. They're coming in 2 sets. I could understand 2 emails, 2 notifications. Why 1 each? Why did I get 1 per item instead of per order? What is wrong with that?
Here come the test results. You are a horrible person. That's what it says. A horrible person. We weren't even testing for that.
You say that like I can't give a fuck. I'm a horrible person. I know. Deal with it. Hi, Wicked. How you doing? Let me get Beacon Pines loaded up. This might not end up being the full last bit of Beacon Pines because my throat is starting to be a bit scratchy. It's a lot of talking, a lot of reading. But if we can finish it today, I'd like to. Otherwise, we might switch to do some DBD. If we do DBD, it'll be Survivor because I'm now... Actually, no, we'll do Killer because I've still got like 2 or 3 Killer challenges in the new tome to do. I did hit Eerie 1 as Killer. I have not been Eerie 1. Fuck you, Wicked. I haven't been Eerie 1 on either side for 3 months because I could not give a flying fuck. Did a match earlier, got to the end, and it went, oh, you're Eerie 1. Like, what? Best thing is I managed it in a match against... So I was Nurse on Nostromo. It's 4 randoms. I don't think any of them were Swiffing. But 2 of them were deliberately being annoying. One was just dropping pallets every time they saw me across the map. Like, I could be the other end of the map, but as long as they could see me, and see me looking at them, they would drop a pallet and start teabagging. They did it like 3 times. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? And then the other one was just running around clicking flashlights at me to get me to chase them. Both were fucking awful at chase. They ended up dead before I even hooked anyone else because they were just in the way all the time. Bad at chase. To the point that I almost gave the 4th person hatch. I'm glad I didn't because I wouldn't have got the pips to get to Eerie 1, I don't think. An hour-long break at work today. Damn. Do love a good long break. I don't think I've ever had a break that long in the middle of work shifts. What am I doing? I'm switching to the right game. Chicken pie. Pines, where you at, bitch? Change the stream info. For anyone that hasn't been here, this is a cute little story game. Why the fuck did my stream preview start talking to me then? It's been paused this entire time. By cute, I mean the art style is adorable. Like, just look at the picture on the screen right now for the menu. Questionable shit going on in this world. So, they live in Beacon Pines. The one in the middle and the one on the left. The one in the middle is us. One on the left is the best friend. One on the right is a new person that's moved into town. We're investigating a weird situation where we found a clone of the town. So, my dad died in the... What do they call it? Something harvest. Foul harvest. And then my mom's gone missing. We've found nuclear waste villages in the woods that mutated people that touched them. Like, instantly put faces up and things. And aged them. We've found a weird warehouse where people in hazmat suits keep coming and going. We've found weird pipes underground that are like fast travels that you just turn on and jump into and they suck you along the pipe to the next destination between certain destinations that are linked via one company. Well, one company that is defunct and then they were taken over by another company who's currently doing shit. Our grandma's being weird. And I suspect it might not be our grandma. I suspect it might actually be our mother, who aged because of the freaking nuclear shit. We don't know for sure yet. And it's actually our mother who went missing. Stuff something is under the town. They keep referring to the source, and our grandma wants to destroy it. Every time she gets to it and destroys it, it blows up and the whole town gets frozen over. The clone of the town, we suspect, is the original town that got frozen by this thing. And then they built a clone of the town on top of it, or at least nearby it or something. It is literally identical because they basically... Something happened in this Val Harvest. This new company came in. They took everyone out of the town to a hotel or whatever, and then fixed the town. So when we get back, everything's fixed up. It wasn't. There's a clone. It's a really weird story. It's lovely, like fucking good. But it's a really weird story. Hi, guy. How you doing? But you can also like bounce back and forth along the story and use different options. So you doing certain things gives you charms, which are one word that changes certain parts of the story. So you can have different branches to the story. But you do kind of have to go through all of them to get the correct ending. With what we're doing, we're going to finish it up. Right, let me just switch up the stream title. We can find... But if anyone is into like story games, like with cute art and strange as fuck stories, I highly recommend this. Highly recommend this. To the point that I would say, stop fucking watching. Go get it and play it yourself if you're into those kind of games. Like, highly recommend. I'm going to pop for a very quick wee break and also let the cat out before he has a strop. He's been in all day. I can already feel the eyes behind me glaring into the back of my head. Give you some music and I'll be back in a minute. I won't be long. We will start as soon as I get back. I won't be long. Not that. Shut up. Let me pick a better song. I'll actually pick one instead of just going next in the playlist. Hang on. Hang on. I added some more stuff yesterday. Yeah, enjoy that. I'll be back in a minute. Shut up, Adam. Right. We have sound on this or I've accidentally muted it. Oh. Okay, so this is where we ended it. We've already seen this little bit. Welcome back, Trey. How was the podcast? So, lady on the right is our grandma, who we suspect might actually be our mother and she's just been aged because of the chemicals. Guy on the left is creepy shop dude that wants to bang Grandma. He's not interested. This is the clone of the town. That hole leads to the source that she's trying to blow up. She has planted bombs. It's going to drop the thing. We already saw this, so I'm not going to replay it. So we're going to go straight into, if I can. Where's my friggin' mouse?
Ignoring his final plea,
Hey, ignore that.
Gran flung the
Stop reading!
torch into the deep darkness.
Hey. So. I'm going to have to finish that, aren't I? Otherwise it's not going to tick it off for me. Fine, hang on. Ignoring his final plea, Gran flung the torch into the deep darkness.
She smiled and exhaled in relief. Mr. Nuncreed moaned in resignation. The torch echoed as it ricocheted down the hole, punctuated with a thunderous thud.
You see, Joseph, I've learned one very important lesson in life. We have already been through this, but I'll read it anyway. If you want things to change, then you must be willing to...
Before Gran could finish, the ground shook her to silence.
So yeah, that keeps happening.
Gran only had time to spin around and run to Luca.
Lucas was a little deer person. Thinking deer, it gives me goat vibes, but Grandma's definitely a deer, so I think we're supposed to be a deer.
Her attempt to shield him,
Some sort.
an honorable but trifling act. Unflinching love, pitted against an unthinking horror, there was no contest. Her warm embrace froze in an instant. That is where they remain, fixed in place, forever. And so, our story ends on this melancholy scene. In a town brought low by its secrets, sits the frozen statues of a misguided band of meddlers. The end. Well, that was dire. On the bright side, we finally figured out where all the ice is coming from. Now, we just need to find a way to deal with a mystic, unfathomable force of nature.
So, this is our path in the story. As we unlock different words, the charms on the right, we can change the path. So if I go back to there, we now have chill, which we haven't done yet. In response to whatever it was. Oh, that was... So we interrogated someone, and we had a choice of being good cop, sly cop, good cop, hard cop, or good cop, chill cop. And that changed how things went. We've done all of those. So yeah, the first branch is us being encountered by Rolo, our best friend's sister, and that whichever option we pick decides whether we go to the warehouse that's got sus shit going on in by ourselves or with Rolo. This side is the branch of going by ourselves. That side is the branch of going with Rolo, which I think is the one that's probably going to lead to a proper ending. We're going to carry on with this side and do chill, and then we'll go over that way after. They need to... Sorry. They needed to know what he was doing in Luca's house. After some deliberation, it was decided. This is also a secret basement that we didn't know existed. It was hidden behind a cabinet that Grandma built. And we found lots of shit about her planning to blow that source up that freezes everything. They'd run the classic good cop, chill cop
They'd run the
interrogation.
classic good cop, chill cop interrogation.
Because one of the words was literally shit. I can't remember what that was for or what we did, but shit was one of the options. I'll handle this, just gotta play it cool.
Luca walked calmly to the light switch, flicking it off and
Oh,
on
it also
a few
changes,
times.
so the words change who does the interrogation. Sly was Rolo. Whatever the other one was, what's her name? Beck? Yeah, Beck. And then Hill is us.
Mr. Tolliver shook his head, gathering his wits.
Golly, I sure got my bell rung. Yeah, we turned the lights off and then knocked him down the stairs.
He looked over to find Luca, who returned a calming grin.
Sorry, Mr. Tolliver. It was all a big mistake. This was all a big mistake. Luca, what's going on here? Why do you have me strapped down? Sorry, we're at an experimental age. No one's fault, really. Rolo just got a little startled. Rolo's here.
Rollo and Beck emerged from hiding to give a timid wave.
Hiya. Well, all right. Mistakes happen. You kids gave old Hiram a good scare. Let's just get me out of these ropes and call it even.
Luca glanced over to Rollo and Beck, who replied with skeptical looks.
Mr. Tolliver, why are you in my grand's basement? I'm here to help, of course. With what? What's my gran up to? Yeah, my throat is really not happy at talking at the minute. Hasn't been for weeks, and it's really pissing me off at this point. So some ice cold, heavy on the licorice chai tea is definitely the answer. It might not be, but that's what I've got. You'll just cut me loose, I can show you. How do I know we can trust you?
Mr. Tolliver exhaled with disappointment.
Luca, have I ever done wrong by you? No. And since your gran moved to town, haven't I been nothing but welcoming? Suspicious, if you ask me. Yes. So why would I turn my back on your family now? Just... all this stuff seems pretty weird. Magic the Gathering podcast, you're obsessed. You're obsessed. Bored with names of people from town. An archive of my dad's old disturbing patient notes. What was the podcast on, though? Like, obviously Magic the Gathering, but what specifically? I probably won't understand a word of it, but... no. What was it about?
Luca gestured to the corner.
About. Fuck me. I don't even know what that was. Barrels of explosives and jam. Can explain everything. You just need to untie me. You kids deserve an explanation.
Luca looked again to Rollo and Beck. This time they shrugged. Luca began to slowly loosen the bindings. Mr. Tolliver gently rubbed his wrists.
The subject today was the pieces of cards and why go up and down. Prices, not pieces. Already has pieces. That made no sense. Prices make sense. Fair. Do the same with Pokemon. Like, why is Charizard always such an expensive card when he's fucking boring? I'll never understand why Charizard is always like one of the most expensive in any set. Like, he's not even that interesting a Pokemon. Let me just lay him to rest already.
He edged imperceptibly toward the stairs.
Even the earlier
as he
sets
spoke.
that he's the most expensive card. Such as the original set. It's not that interesting. Not even one of the best, like, usable cards in the sets. Been playing with, like, boring. Old one in the digital client. I had, like, 3. Which is gutting. When I was a kid, I had, like, 3 of the original Charizard cards. All in really good condition when I got rid of them. But at that point, they weren't worth squat. I wish I'd kept them. I'd be rich. You see, this town has secrets, Luca. A very dark past indeed. He is literally just slowly edging
Before
towards
the
the
kids
stairs.
had even noticed his movement, Mr. Tolliver was at the light switch.
Past that must be
He
brought
punctuated
to...
his final words by flicking the switch and rushing up the stairs.
Bastard! Light! Son of a...
Beck darted to the wall and turned back on the lights. It was too late. Rollo confirmed what they all heard.
He just locked us down here.
Mr. Tolliver's muffled voice came from behind the door.
I wasn't lying, you know. This is for your own good. You kids just keep tight down there. Let the adults handle this. So we're just going to sit here until we get frozen. I was right. We do need to get to the full ending. Stopping the shit happening. We need Rolo to be with us at the warehouse.
They looked bewildered at each other.
Play it cool, huh? Not now, Beck. Play it cool.
They heard the staccato thump of quick steps exiting the house.
Excuse me.
The kids looked down in resignation.
Actually, I've just thought that other ending that we just redid, there was a branch there and we only had one option for it, so I've got to be able to unlock another word that can go there as well. This game's a lot longer than the frickin'... Like, I know there's the aspect of I'm stopping to talk to chat, read, like, talk like this. Plus the fact that it's streaming in general, you're always a bit slower. But the The freaking, hang on, average play time was only like, deconfined, average, 5 to 7 hours. I'm pretty sure we've gone past that. We've got to be past that, or very close to the 7 hours at the very least. A new card game? Are they even worth bringing out new card games anymore? They just get destroyed by the ones that already exist, and no one bothers with them.
This isn't how it goes in Hank Atomic.
Hank Atomic is like their superhero comics thing.
For some reason, they'd always assumed it was up to them to save their town.
Dragon Ball?
Luca opened
I'm
his
surprised
mouth,
Dragon Ball hasn't done
hoping
it
to
before.
conjure some magical words
Done
to
everything
make
bloody
this
else.
right. Only a hollow croak escaped. The end.
Okay, we literally just stay there.
Well,
on that
we
one.
certainly aren't going to find a grand resolution to our tale locked in a basement. Back to the drawing board.
Okay, yeah, so there's only weep there, so there's got to be another word I can get for that path. Nowhere else only has one. Cool. Yeah, so that one was the shit we found was to do with actual shit, hence the picture, I think. But it was when we encounter Rolo's sister, we have a choice of being chill to try and get her to let us go past and her not take Rolo home, or be a little shit. Being a little shit meant we run up and kicked her in the shin and ran past her. Yeah, but this is a digital client for it. Did they? Oh, yeah. I didn't know. I'm surprised I didn't know the cards look fucking awful. The art on them's good of the actual characters, but everything else on the card looks fucking terrible. They are not like laid out well at all. So we're going to go here and do tickle because we've got that off light. So this is... Oh, shit. So this is where we learnt about the spillage of green goo in the woods. And the town bully, who I still don't know what he's supposed to be. It's a cat of some sort, maybe? He's got like rabbit teeth. I don't know. The guy on the right and the little image on the left. With the hippo friend. Hippo? Rhino. Horn. Rhino. The Digimon card game was fun. I had a few cards from that very early on when it first dropped. Pokemon was more fun. Mostly because people played Pokemon. No one really played the Digimon card game. And it was good on the Digimon card game on PS1. Yeah, there's one on PS1, wasn't there? Then there was also the cards in Digimon World 3. I think. Yeah, 3. There's a new one. Why? People need to stop. They need to stop. There is a point where it's just obvious that it's just a fucking cash grab. My throat really is not happy about talking. I don't know why it does this. Like, every time we played this, and I'm reading things, my voice just gives in. My throat gives in, it goes scratchy and dry and keeps sealing itself up when I'm trying to talk. Or makes me cough. Or worse. But when we do, like, a DVD stream, I'm talking just as much. Like, I'm not talking any less, but because I'm not reading something and talking at the same time, it doesn't seem to bother me. I don't understand how that works. What trading card games are a cash grab these days? I mean, there is that. There is that. At least the older ones started as something fun and then they became cash grabs. We're encountering the bullies next to the glowing puddle. We'll just call it glowing puddle.
Well, time to bust out the
Last time we
tickles.
knocked the bully into the puddle and one side of his face melted, basically. Mutated. Hey, Tish, want to see something cool? Tish being the rhino. Yep. Who never says anything. She always says like one word and that's it. Check it.
Beck lunged forward and began to tickle under Tish's arms.
Oh, do we make... One of those two's going to fall in, aren't they? What the? Tish, is she tickling you? Yup. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's supposed to be a hare, isn't he? It's like a hair tail. Because they have long tails, don't they, sometimes? Oh, yup.
Tears began to form in
Fuck is that
Tish's
word?
eyes as she gasped for breath between gales of laughter.
I'm not saying it again.
Beck redoubled her efforts until Tish finally had had enough.
Okay, no one went into the puddle. What just happened? She seems nice. Sorry for the interruption. I think you were just threatening us.
Iggy's eyes darted around, a realization
Iggy,
dawning on
what a
his
name.
face that he was now outnumbered.
I just remembered. I have somewhere to be. Mm-hmm. See you around, new kid.
Iggy kicked at the puddle before making his escape.
Oh. Yep, so Beck's going to be the one to mutate this time. What a little creep. Beck, I think you got a little ooze in your hair.
Beck shook the ooze out of her hair
No
as
comments.
best as she could.
Is it just supposed to be aging? Because when it got onto the bully's face, like one side of their face mutated, essentially. His teeth went weird. And a big bulge on one side. Maybe that's just how he's going to age? I don't know. Is it bad? It depends. What are your feelings about having a more mature, refined look? Oh, God. So, no, I don't want to be
Chapter
fucking
4.
grey.
The best policy.
The next thing is, I think the highest chapter we've got to is 8 or something, and there's 11. I'm not seeing this ending anytime fucking soon. Like, what the fuck? I don't believe that average playthrough thing. Even if I was sat just reading it in my head and just clicking along, I don't think I've got any faster. Not much faster, anyway.
Luca paused for a moment, catching his breath. He'd only just met Beck, and somehow he already managed to drag her into this mess. Hopefully he could make it up to her. But finding Rollo was his primary concern.
Okay, so... Oh. Luca, what the hell are you doing out here? And why did a kid with grey hair just run past us in a panic?
Roxy and Fitz looked drained.
Excuse me.
It was clear they'd spent all day searching.
Oh, yeah. So at this point, this is where... Wait, did we? Yeah, so we both went to the warehouse, me and Rollo. Rollo got dragged into the warehouse. No, wait. Got dragged to the warehouse. No, we hid, we left. Separately. He got lost. When we get back, he's missing. I think it was something like that. Or did he get taken in? There's 2 branches. One of them he got taken into the warehouse and one of them he didn't. Can't remember which one this followed on from. That's Beck. I don't care who she is. What happened? Yeah, they were looking for Rollo. We were just helping look for Rollo. Luca, I need you to start telling me the truth.
Roxy's temper could often be dismissed as the impatience of an older sibling. But this was the most intense Luca had ever seen her. Her eyes were wild and unfocused, looking straight through Luca.
We are running out of
In
time.
a torrent of rambled words and tears, Luca broke down.
Rollo and I weren't just playing in Weepwood yesterday. We were investigating lights at the old Valentine warehouse. Yes, Valentine. Shut up. But someone was there in a strange suit, which we found out in the other branch could have been our grandmother. Or someone linked to grandmother. We hid in the dumpster and had a heavy bag dropped on us. And I think it was a body. So we ran. But we got split up. I ran home. All my fault. Now my best friend may never come back. Wow. Just... wow.
Roxy, still exhausted and angry, softened briefly as her eyes hunted the ground in thought. With a determined sigh, she looked up at Luca.
It's not your fault. Rollo's gonna be okay, I promise.
Roxy drew herself up.
What are you gonna do with that broom? Like, calm yourself. I'm gonna fix this. Luca, go home. But I want to help. This is too dangerous for a kid. I can't just sit around. I have to do something. Also, you say a kid. I don't think the squirrel lady on the right is that much older than us.
Roxy tried to think of the safest place to send Luca.
Yeah, she's a squirrel, isn't she? She's got a big bushy tail. Hard to tell with some of them. It could be a mixture of things. You go back to that little tree house you two like to play in. Right there in case Rolo shows up. Sound like a plan?
Luca wiped his cheeks and gave a quick nod.
You did the right thing telling me the truth. Now scoot. You really believe his story? What other option do we have? Things have been strange around here leading up to the festival. Her dad has been acting weird lately. Oh, her dad's the guy that we just interrogated in the other branch, in the basement. How have I not connected the two before?
Looking into the puddle, Roxy rubbed her arms to warm up.
Why is it so cold here? It gives me the willies. Lucky you, love. Lucky you. Wait for the tree house in case Rolo shows up. Excuse me. Jesus. Okay, can I not? Okay, you don't want to talk?
Mr. Nuncreed jumped with a start.
Whoa, don't sneak up on an old fella like that. Also, we learned from the other branch that the phone booth that he stood outside of is basically the Harry Potter phone booths, in that it leads somewhere. Put a specific message into the buttons and it takes you underground to where the pipes are that travel to other places. Which we now know from the other branch, he does. He's doing some shit. Sorry, who are you talking to? What?
Luca motioned to the phone booth.
That somebody else went down. Oh, no. I was just checking because I thought I heard it ring. But the dang thing never does, of course. Yeah, I've never seen anyone use it, really. It's not a real phone. The whole thing's a waste of money, if you ask me. Any word from Rolo yet? Not yet. Long time for a boy to lose his way. Rolo knows these woods too well to get lost. Excuse me. I suppose you're right. Silly boy's antics have this whole town worried sick. Ticks? We all know Rolo likes to play his little pranks. You think this is a prank? What is the fucking noises? What other possible explanation could there be? He's not playing a prank and he didn't get lost. Someone took him, I know it. How would you know that? Unless... Luca, is there something else that you know?
Mr. Nuncreed gently placed one of his substantial hands on Luca's shoulder.
One of his substantial hands. I was supposed to read that out loud. If you know something that could help your friend, you need to tell folks. I just clicked past it.
Luca peered up at Mr. Nuncreed. Kind eyes warmed a stern face. There was a deeper emotion hiding beneath it all. It was subtle, but Luca could sense something eating away at him.
Oh, another branch. There was a something lurking behind those eyes. There was a shame lurking behind those eyes. So another branch that we don't have options for yet.
There was a shame lurking behind those eyes.
Usually you go through one of the branches that has no options. It'll give you more words to go back to another branch that now has extra options. So then come back to this branch to get more options. It's done well, but it's taking too long for me to get to the end, and it's kind of... Particularly with the fact it's making my freaking throat hate me. Like, can we just finish already? Can you just power us through to the end, please?
A deep sadness. If Mr. Nuncreed was that worried about Rolo, maybe he could help.
Having voices on the characters would have helped. My throat at the very least, but I would imagine it was possibly only done by a handful of people, if that. Yesterday, Rolo and I were messing around at the old Valentine warehouse.
Mr. Nuncreed raised an eyebrow.
Both of you? You were with Rolo when he went missing? Not exactly, I was hiding in the dumpster. The dumpster? What were you doing in the dumpster? At first we were just looking around, then someone in a strange yellow suit came and dumped something on us. We both got scared and ran. That was the last I saw of him. You got scared by some garbage? Well, that's why you don't go skulking in someone's dumpster. It wasn't garbage. I think it was a body. I'm sure it was just some trash. No, there was a name tag. They're deep engineering.
Mr. Nuncreed's shoulders slumped.
I wish you wouldn't have said that.
A deep sigh bellowed from his chest.
Why did you have to? I tried, Luca. God knows I tried to keep you safe.
Luca attempted to take a step back, but Nuncreed's hand clamped down on his shoulder.
You Van Horns just can't help yourselves, can you? What you saying? The only other Van Horn alive is my grandmother. What are you trying to say about my grandmother? We were all so close to being done with this.
With a firm shove, Nuncreed manhandled Luca into the phone booth.
Going in a very different route than I thought he was gonna. What are you doing? Out of my hands now.
The door latched shut with a mechanical hiss.
Shit. Oh, it was him saying shit that gave us the option before.
As Luca pounded the glass, the floor
Not
dropped
here,
from under
in a
his
different
feet.
place.
The inside of the phone booth was now a loose capsule, plummeting at gravity's whim. Luca winced and pressed his hands to the walls. As he braced for impact, the capsule hurried to a surprisingly smooth stop. He felt a cold rush of air and opened his eyes with hesitance. Two large figures in hazmat suits occluded his view.
Ooh.
Luca heard the deep, resigned voice of Mr. Nuncreed over an intercom. He knows too much.
Or he's just casually stood in the frickin' phone booth talking to us underground. Rude.
The end. Wait. No. This isn't the end. I know there's still much more. Somehow this went wrong. Okay, let's try something else.
I mean, that's literally the only other option we have now, isn't it? So we haven't found any new words. So in this instance, instead of tickling the guy, we were strange, acted weird, and pushed him into the puddle. He mutated. He went on the run. We got home, so we were sent home while everyone else was looking for Rolo. We got a phone call from the hyena man, whose name I can't remember, who's the manager or owner or whatever of the company that's doing the dodgy shit, to say that Rolo was home. He'd been found. He'd come home. Turned out to be a load of bollocks. We went to the treehouse to try and see if find him. Found the bully there instead, hiding behind our little toy rockets because his face is mutated and he's on the run. Because the guy that runs the company, the hyena man, is after him because of what's happened to him, supposedly. We were in the treehouse. We got surrounded by Hyena Man and his weird red panda army. The company, for some reason, every single employee of the company is a red panda. They are all weird. They all ask questions and jot down the responses to every question, no matter what kind of question it is, even if it's got nothing to do with anything. They will jot it on their little notepads. And there's like 20 of them. So they're surrounding the bottom of the treehouse, and we had the option of fight previously, which was to aim some weird plunger harpoon that Rolo built at them and fire it at their face, and it didn't work. It actually just let them come up and get us. So we're gonna use flight this time and run away. Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 11 red pandas and the hyena man. And it's me and the bully on the roof. What was it? What? Iggy. So Luca drew himself up, decided to take the only option they had left. Flight.
Luca drew himself up and decided
Run
to
the
take
fuck
the
off.
only option they had left. Flight. He squinted down the barrel of the mission control defense
path has
cannon,
got to give me new
aiming it
words.
through an opening in the dense tree branches.
Otherwise I've missed something that gives me words. And I ain't going through it to try and find out where that is. So, once we run out of words, we're done. Ooh,
He
made
looked
a
up
zip
with
line.
surprise as it struck true and taut.
Wow, I can't believe that worked. Hey, Mr. Kerr. Mr. Kerr, that's his name. We'd love to hear your thoughts, but I'm afraid we have places to be. Come on, Iggy. There you go, that's what happened to his face. Like, what? That doesn't look like aging to me. It looks more like mutation, like what, that cheek that's hidden on his right is bulging. Looks more like it's mutated rather than aged, whereas the bit that got on Bex's head aged her, and I have a feeling that's what happened to grandmother, and she's actually our mother. If that doesn't come up as a thing in any of these storylines, I'll be surprised. Like, I'm pretty sure at this point that it's actually my mother. Fine, we know where that leads them. This way, we'll take the tunnels. How long is the line? Surely you could just walk
Luca
through
and
the woods.
Iggy winced as they sprinted through the thicket. The branches clawed at them, reluctant to give passage. After what felt like a marathon, Luca stopped in his tracks as they reached the clearing. What the? That was all he was able to say before Iggy slammed into his back. The boys tumbled down a steep decline and crashed with a wheezing thud on a surface as hard as ice.
We found our way to the original the original town, haven't we?
It was ice. Chapter 5. Signs. They stood silently, catching their breath. The sky was like sapphire. With each breath, a plume of steam escaped from Luca's lungs. Let's keep moving. Luca pulled Iggy to his feet as they gazed across.
Yes, we found our way to the original town. Literally, the first time we come here, we come through that little circle on the floor. And as we came up, I'm like, this looks exactly like where my house is, just without a house there. That mark behind us, that's where the house is normally. A little loop to the top leads, in the normal one, leads to our dad's grave. It also leads to our dad's grave here, where there's no trees or bushes or anything. Excuse me. And the bottom right leads in towards town. That was actually pretty badass. I think we lost them. Are we up in the mountains? We shot down. How did we get up into the mountains? I don't think so. If anything, we went downhill. See? What's up with the Winter Wonderland? All I know is there's no going back the way we came. What, the butler? Isn't that the butler? Isn't that Batman's Alfred, the butler? Sorry? Let's see if we can get our bearings. Follow me. Find a way home. Well, your home should be here. How is the butler off? Luca, are you there?
Luca had almost forgotten the walkie-talkie he was carrying.
That bozo Kerr. I hope nothing bad has happened to you out in those woods.
Luca looked at Iggy with hesitation.
No need to be rude.
With a resigned sigh, Luca responded.
Seems like the only dangerous thing in the woods is you. He speaks, the young man of the hour. Now, how in tarnation did you end up with one of our radios? Just lucky, I guess. Where did we get the radios? I don't remember where we picked the radios up from. Boy howdy, what? Boy howdy. You Van Horns are full of surprises, aren't you? You knew my parents? I never had the honor of meeting your father, but your mother sure was a handful.
Luca winced, shoving the walkie-talkie back into his pocket.
Mother that is missing and has been for a while. Like months to a year, kind of a while. I gotta keep moving. And that is our dad's tombstone. Can't interact with it here, but in the cloned town, there's a nice big tree, there's some lovely flowers, and we can actually read it. That's where we came in last time.
A disc of smooth metal was lightly covered in snow. 2 faint seams were visible along the surface.
Manhole cover? If it is, I've never seen one like it. It's not. It's the end of a freaking travel tube. What's the readout? I think just above 258 Kelvin. Right? What's, hang on, Kelvin to stealth. 258. Minus 15 degrees Celsius. Or 4.7 Fahrenheit. The bloody cold. It's down a bit from last time. Could we report this to Mr. Kerr? Meh, still within safe ranges. It may be spreading, but it's under control for now. Even a small nudge in the equilibrium could cause a cascade. Dude, relax. Just a few more sights to hit before we can punch out. Let's get this over with. What's all this? Hard to say with all this snow. I think it's a town sign. I can almost make out letters under there. What town could this even be? It couldn't be another town this deep into Weepwood. I'm looking at evidence to the contrary. Let's figure out what we're dealing with here. Step 1. Snow's gotta go. See what I can do. You actually want me to clean the fucking sign? Just no. In situations such as these, I find it best to chuck stuff first, and ask questions later. Yeah.
The boys stared in disbelief at the sign that now clearly read, "Welcome to Beacon Pines."
Doesn't make any sense. We're in Beacon Pines? How is that possible? We ran away from town. How did we get back here? Guess we got turned around. Where did all this snow come from? But it's been colder than normal lately. There's a pretty big difference between sweater weather and this Arctic hellscape. Puddle we fought out before was cold too. Maybe all of this leads to one source. You think it's related? What the hell is going on? I'll get you some answers. Let's keep moving. This stuff look familiar to you? Looks like the barrel near the puddle I shoved me into, yes. Alright, bitch.
The fencing listened, each chain link encapsulated with a translucent layer of ice.
Looks like the stuff they put up around Weepwood. The stuff who put up? I don't know. All frozen.
Looking down at the frozen stream, Luca could faintly see a school of minnows encased in the ice.
Whatever happened here, it happened fast. Fish didn't even have time to run. Or, swim, run.
The crunching of footsteps trailing Luca went hush. He looked back to see Iggy's face twisted with confusion.
Everyone's gone. What? There's nothing here but more snow. Must be an explanation for all this. We have to keep looking. You can look all you want. I quit. Iggy, we have to keep going. You don't get it, do you? This isn't one of your pathetic Hank Atomic stories. We aren't going to save the day. We aren't even going to save ourselves. Someone's a bit fucking defeatist, aren't they? My face is mangled. The town is destroyed, and everyone we've ever known is gone. We don't know that. You can't just quit. Do whatever you want. I'm done. Iggy, it's gonna be okay. Twat.
Luca peered upward at the darkening sky.
Are neither of them going to question the fact that if this was the town that they were in before, A, why is that fence solid when there is a gap in it? Actually, the fence doesn't even exist back in our town. And the fact that this damaged house to the right of the speech bubble down here, there's another building in front of it in our town that the company built, which isn't there currently. They're not going to question the missing building?
He let out a long, foggy breath. Faintly, Iggy began to cry. Seeing Iggy in such a pathetic state gave Luca a sense of compassion, and more than a little guilt.
It is getting pretty late, I think. Probably not a great idea to stumble around in the dark anyway.
Luca allowed himself to collapse next to Iggy.
Let's just rest for a bit. In the fucking snow!
The boys huddled together for warmth and comfort. If not for exhaustion, their minds would be racing, trying to make sense of the events of the day. As it was, all they had energy for was to sit in silence. No.
Oops. That can't be the end, because I've not had any new words. Come on. The way the snow covered everything over. Kind of calming. Yeah. I haven't had time to say it, but thanks. Getting us away from those creeps. It sort of froze up back there. Ironically, we're about to freeze up anyway. Iggy, I should be the one apologising. This all happened because I lost my temper. Nah, that's bull hockey. First of all, you didn't know what that gunk would do. You didn't, right? Of course not. And second, stop with this baloney about losing your temper. I did lose my temper.
Iggy motioned sarcastically to his half-deformed face.
Obviously. And that's exactly what you should have done. It was being a horse's ass. You were supposed to be a horse's ass in response. That's how it works. Iggy, I'm having a hard time following. You wanted me to fight you? Of course. Geez, you goody-goody types take forever to understand this very basic point. Why would you go around saying cruel things trying to get into fights?
Iggy shrugged.
Something to do? I agree. You're an asshole because you're bored? Sometimes I just feel empty. You wouldn't understand. You and Rolo are always having a blast together. Laughing and calling that dinky little treehouse mission control.
Iggy now wept openly.
To ignore the fact that they spelled mission missile. There's an I missing. Perfect little Luca Van Horn. With its perfect little life. Life is not perfect. Everybody in town likes you. Everybody. Even that new girl. Hasn't even unpacked yet, and she already likes you. Or that's slightly backwards. You have Tish.
He wiped his nose with a sleeve.
I love Tish. Tish is great. But she ain't exactly the world's greatest conversationalist, you know? But she only ever says, like, yup, and weird noises. That's it.
Luca gave a warm chuckle.
Get that impression.
Iggy cleared his throat as he wiped his eyes.
It must be raining out here. Definitely.
Iggy arched into
We're
a
not crying,
wide
it's all it's
yawn.
rain. We should probably try to get some sleep. Yeah, let's lay low for now. Tomorrow we'll get to the bottom of all of it.
Luca's eyelids began to slowly drift shut.
Never woke up again. Luca? Yeah? I always did want to see the inside of your dinky little treehouse. What do you think? Not bad. I'll give you the full tour when we get back. You know what?
That's all Luca could whisper before succumbing to sleep. Iggy snuggled in some more.
When it comes to worst days of my entire life, this one wasn't half bad. And they froze to death.
The house smelled of warm bread. Luca was playing with toy blocks on the living room rug.
How did we get from that to warm bread?
He looked up to see his parents on the couch. His mother held his father's head in her lap. She idly stroked his hair while humming a song. A voice behind Luca spoke. "This is how you remember them, huh?" Luca turned to see his own face. The doppelganger from his dreams, still clad in a yellow hazmat suit, still carrying a look of disdain behind empty eyes. "Aw, look at this perfectly cozy scene. You know it wasn't really like this." The figure picked up a toy block and inspected it. "It's amazing the facades that one can build given the right materials. Not that I blame us. These are a child's memories, all warm and fuzzy.
We're still only 12, we are still a child.
You don't remember, do you?" Luca snatched the block from the figure's yellow-gloved hand. "Remember what?" The doppelganger pointed to the couch. "The last day we saw him alive.
Oh, we're going to learn something
The
about...
day he chose
thingy.
to abandon us." Luca turned to look at his
Chose?
father, still lounging on the couch. "That's not true. He didn't abandon us." The doppelganger waved his hand dismissively. "Everything is true here. It's just a matter of what we choose to see. Let me show you." The world flickered and pulsed. Luca was sitting next to his bed, listening to his heartbeat with one of his dad's stethoscopes. The doppelganger limped into the room. Now, we both know that's not how this went." He grabbed Luca's hand and guided the stethoscope to the floor. Luca heard muffled shouting, brought close by the stethoscope. It was his parents, fighting. "Do you remember what we did next?" Luca gave a slow nod and crept down the hall to peek through the banister. He could see the outline of his mother at the bottom of the stairs. "Damn it, Walt. We can't afford to get involved in this."
Oh,
She was scared. His father stepped forward. What am I supposed to do? Just watch? There's a sickness in this town, and we both know who's behind it. I swore an oath to help people. I won't turn my back on them.
Oh yeah, our dad was the doctor.
Luca's mother grabbed Walt. She was crying, pleading. I can't lose you.
Assuming from the fact that the Al Harvest, when he died, that is what happened. I'm assuming we're about to find out a bit more. Was also when Sharper Valentine, the founder of the town, also disappeared. Died. I'm gonna guess that's who he's talking about. We know who's the cause of it.
Walt calmly removed Eleanor's hand from his shoulder. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong.
That's generally how words work, yes.
I could never live with myself if I let Sharper get away with this. Eleanor raised her voice. Spare me your bullshit platitudes. What about our son? Luca flinched, dropping the stethoscope down the stairs. Walt turned with a panicked smile. Luca, is that you, buddy? With tears in his eyes, Luca descended the stairs. Mom? Dad? What's going on? Walt dropped to a knee to meet Luca eye to eye. Nothing, buckaroo. Your mom and I just got a little overexcited is all. Luca placed the stethoscope against his father's chest. His heart was racing. It sounded like you were going somewhere? Walt gently removed the device from Luca's ears. Listen to me, Luca. I have some business to take care of. I'll be back in time to tuck you in. Luca hugged his father tightly. Promise? Walt stood up and walked to the door. He glanced over his shoulder. I promise. With a wink and a grin, he put on his hat and strode out into the evening sun.
Who the fuck
A
are you?
figure approached soundlessly
Wait,
from
is
the
that-
foggy snowfall. It stood above them, lingering in contemplation. Slowly raising one hand above Iggy, it snapped out 2 brisk raps on his head. From a deep slumber, Iggy sprang up defensively.
Who the fuck are you? Get your hands off me.
Whether it was the calming presence or the recognition that he was not in danger, Iggy felt his clenched fists lower.
So what do you think you're doing?
Luca looked up, gradually remembering his whereabouts. The figure exhaled a cloud of warm vapor.
You two certainly have caused a lot of commotion. What's that supposed to mean? Make it easy, Iggy. We were asleep minding our own business. You're the one running around knocking on people's heads. Sorry if I hurt you, Iggy. You didn't hurt nobody. Anybody. Huh? Oh, I see. You think you're better than me.
When
You-
it came to complete strangers, Iggy had trouble cobbling together an insult.
You big-hatted, scarfy-necked furball. Honestly, he's probably the closest character to me. He is probably the closest character to me. I've never been... I mean, I wouldn't say I've ever been classed as a bully in my life. Just a bit of an arse. But with how he deals with people, very similar. Give me a sec, Tom messaged. In up hands. Okay, let's lower the temperature a bit here. Interesting choice of words. Look at your surroundings, sir. I mean, let's all just calm down. Who are you? A friend. An observer. Hitchhiker on the infinite expanse of possibility. Great. How about a name? Also, we'll do till 8 with this, and then I'll do a couple hours of DVD to finish, because whether we finish this or not in the next hour, my throat is not going to manage 3 hours more of this. So we'll split it in 3 today. We will be finishing this at some point. I'm not abandoning the end, but my throat's not happy. If you must call me something, you can call me Nat. I don't trust anyone called Nat. Can we burn the bitch?
Iggy huffed with gratification.
Can we get rid of them? How about you make like a gnat and buzz off? Very well.
Nat began to turn away indifferently.
Wait. Do you live here? You might say that. so you know where we are. You might also say that. Look, pal, we just want to find a safe way out of here. You gonna help us or not? Before knowing how to leave, one must know where they are. Alright, that does it. Luca, I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here one way or another.
Iggy turned sharply and began to stomp off.
Hi, Explosion, how you doing? Enough with the riddles. Iggy, wait up.
Realizing he'd worn their patience then, Nat relented.
Very well, I suppose this isn't the time for metaphors. I'm doing alright. Throat's scratchy as fuck, so I'm only going to do another hour of this and then switch to some DVD to finish, because I don't know what it is, but reading and talking at the same time, my voice seems to hate it. I can talk for a 12-hour stream straight, but if I'm not reading, I'm fine. If I'm reading at the same time, my throat goes horrendous. Scratchy and dry and coffee and meh. Show you how to get back home.
Luca and Iggy turned around with hope in their eyes.
Why would we trust this person we've literally just met?
Nat took a deep breath in.
Close your eyes.
Nat exhaled slowly, then snapped his fingers.
Okay, open them.
For a brief moment, Luca and Iggy let themselves believe that some great magic was about to unfold, until they opened their eyes and found themselves in the exact same place, cold and disheartened.
This is your home. This is Beacon Pines. Look, Nat, we don't know how we got here. Maybe we stumbled through some time travel gate in Weepwood, or we teleported to some alternate universe. Or this is all just some cruel experiment by Kerr and his goons. But this is not our home. You're inching closer to the truth. Alas, the reality is much less fanciful. Just give it to us straight. Interesting choice of words there. So be it. As I said, this is Beacon Pines. The original, true Beacon Pines. You both grew up here. But the town you've called your home for the past several years is a replica. A remarkable achievement of engineering, to be fair. But a replica nonetheless. It's impossible. It's too much work. You'd need a whole town to replicate a whole town. Indeed, to pull off such a feat would require immense labour power. Switch could be moved, would be moved. Switch could not, would require a precise duplicate. We would have noticed. Someone would have noticed. You'd think so, unless the auditing was impeccable. Mind-numbing attention to detail. For the innumerable trivialities which complete this tapestry, well, you can leave that to the miraculous thing we call a brain. It has a real aversion to discontinuity, words. A revulsion even. The brain has a wonderful way of smoothing out the rough edges, keeping us sane. Luca and... I know I went to read it then, but she normally reads these bits out automatically, and she didn't. Luca and Iggy looked around uncomfortably. You're saying that someone made an entire new town, moved us all, and no one noticed? Precisely. But why? Why is the one question that can never be answered with certainty. Best one can do is to uncover...
Nat narrowed his eyes, furrowed his brow, and uttered,
Source. Why'd you say the source like that? Why indeed?
Luca began to laugh uncomfortably.
All ridiculous. There is no
He
way
looked
they could.
down at his feet. His eyes started back and forth in contemplation. With a sudden pain, a thought struck him.
If this really is home,
He sprinted off into the pale distance. As Iggy turned to follow, Nat called out,
Iggy, it's not too late to turn back. Simply head west through Weepwood. Guessing we're going to go and check the,
Chapter
Tombstone.
6. The Source. Nat expressed his sympathy with a shrug and sauntered off as unassumingly as he'd arrived. He'd given Luca and Iggy what they needed, and nothing more.
literally the only time we have seen or encountered this Nat character. Like, literally that model has not been on screen once so far.
As Luca sprinted across the snow, the events of the past
I'm
few
assuming
days
he's
became
something to
clearer,
do with the
pieces
experiments
to a
going on.
larger puzzle. Rollo said he was underground somewhere, captured. Mr. Kerr tried to cover it up with lies. The clipboards were hell-bent on capturing Iggy. It all seemed to point to Perennial Harvest.
Tombstone.
But right now, there was one
That's
thing
grave.
that Luca needed to know.
Real grave.
Luca
Question is, when they
stopped
cloned the
dead in his
town,
tracks.
did they move the grave? Like, did they move the body, or is it just a fake grave in the new town with nothing in it?
The tree was gone, uprooted and moved, leaving a raw gash in the earth.
Maybe why there's no tree here. What can be moved will be moved. They moved the tree.
He dropped to his knees
Looked
and
correct.
dug wildly at the
New
cold
place.
snow. His numb hands hit something hard. A headstone. A dry whisper escaped Luca's lips.
Although I'd like to point out, if they had the freaking ability to move a tree, not a small tree, it's a bloody big tree, they couldn't move the headstone? They had to get a new one? Like, inconsistency in that, but sure. You're here. All this time I thought I was visiting you. You've been here, alone in the snow. Dad, I'm so sorry. You ruined your favourite spot in the world. Our favourite spot in the world. Dad, what do I do?
There was no reply, just snow-covered silence.
Why'd you give me the slip like that? What if I couldn't find you, you jerk?
Iggy finally noticed the tears welling in Luca's eyes and the snow-covered grave.
Oh. Iggy, they stole his tree.
Suddenly, they heard the crunch of approaching footsteps in the snow.
We gotta hide. 259k, Kelvin. Fall off distance still good. Dude, did you hear me? It said 259. Sorry. You ever think about what we did here? We saved a whole town of people. It doesn't feel like it sometimes. What about everything we left behind? The grave of someone with a family. People who love them will never know the truth. Truth is overrated.
He bent down to scoop
Valid.
up a snowball
Valid.
and lobbed it playfully.
Pretty bitch. You're such a downer, dude. We took this job to change the world. Come on. It's almost lunchtime. What the fuck was that walk? Weirdo. Jesus. Speaking of lunch, I might go grab a snack. Actually, I have biscuits. It's fine. I'll have biscuits in a minute. Here, I thought I was a jerk. These dinguses are out here literally dancing on graves.
Luca stuttered through heaving sobs.
Thought I was visiting him. Thought he was with me. Hi, Stella. How you doing? And John, how you doing? This is a really cute, drawn, strange story game. That's what it is. Where a town had something weird happen to it. A company came in, moved all the residents to a hotel and cloned their town into a new location. And nobody noticed because the original town was frozen over. We've just found the cloned town. The original town, which is frozen over. It's a fucking good story and it's done very well. But Jesus Christ, it's long. Would recommend though. If you like story games and you like cute art, would recommend. Everyone's 9th favourite at a push. Who were the 8 ahead of you? Yeah, we're only going to do this till 8, so another hour or so. Assuming my throat doesn't give in beforehand, otherwise we might finish with this a bit earlier. We'll do some DVD after. Which if anyone's around to Swift, we might do Survivor. If not, I'll do some Killer and finish the home challenges. Here's some advice.
Iggy gave Luca a solid smack on the back of his head.
Hey! Who's any of this helping? What? Sitting here in the snow crying like some pushover? Iggy's not a bellend. No. We're still on the fence with that one, but he's less of a bellend now than he was when we pushed him in the mutating puddle. Who you helping? Iggy, look what they did. They lied to everyone. Trapped my statement. Blah, blah, blah. Luca Van Horn, you're a lot of things, but you ain't no
Wizard
pushover.
is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
What do you mean, don't mind you? What are you after the quote list for, bitch? I say, don't know how you doing. What did I tell you before? When some jerk comes at you acting like a horse's ass, I should stand up for myself. Hell yeah. Her and his merry little band of clipboards pulled off this switcheroo for a reason, right? Nat mentioned something about a source.
Luca wiped his eyes with a sleeve.
The source being the thing that Grandma keeps trying to blow up, but every time she blows it up, the new town also freezes over in an instant and we get the end of the story and have to go back and switch things up. Whatever's at the source must be awfully valuable to Perennial Harvest. That's the name of the company. I couldn't remember the name of the company that moved in. Sure would be a shame if something unfortunate were to happen to their precious source, wouldn't it? What do you have in mind? If it's small enough to steal, we snatch it. If it's too big to snatch, we smash it. I like this guy. I'm going to be honest. He's definitely me. Knowing a friend who also uses Virgin, some of our old quotes. Hey, Virgin has behaved for a long time. We haven't had issues with the internet for a while. I've just said that. We're going to have issues with the fucking internet. To be fair, the last time we had issues that affected stream, it's been a good year. Minimum. There were issues the other week, but I'm not sure if that was Virgin's fault or the weather's fault, because one of our boxes on the outside of the house is slightly exposed and the weather was naff that day. Nick it or kick it, literally. Or lick it. There's always a third option of lick it. Depends on the scenario. What's going on. Nick it, kick it, or lick it. There you go. If it's too big to snatch, we smash it. What if it's too big to
Iggy
smash?
flashed a mischievous
Then we
smile
lick it.
and cracked his knuckles.
I'm always up for a challenge. Which still applies to we lick it. Just saying. I'm going to make this right, Dad, I promise. Nuclear fuel rod? Nah. Push pop. Kid love push pops. Well, it did, obviously. And then the last time I had a push pop was from some random sweet shop about 5 years ago. Not as good as I remember. They were great when I was a kid. Let's do this. Locate the source. It can get awful cold out there in those woods, Luca. Probably best you two stay put and conserve your energy. Help is on the way. Where's Rolo? Where's my mom? Did you kill her? For anyone that wasn't here before, the guy on the speaker, on the walkie-talkie, is Mr. Kerr, the leader of the Perennial Harvest douche buckets. Who's just being really creepy while he looks for us. Oh heavens no, do I seem like a killer to you?
Iggy and Luca shared a skeptical look.
Well, do I? Oh, shucks, now that's hurt my feelings. Screw that guy. Wait a minute. This is the original town, and that means...
Iggy darted behind a large pine and began digging furiously. He emerged holding a shoebox with a crude skull painted on its lid.
That's a time capsule. What's that? Long story. But a few years back, I came into possession of some premium grade fireworks. Not the wimpy firecracker stuff they give kids. The good stuff. Why did you bury it under a tree? That's the long part of the story. You and Rolo were doing chores at Rolo's chicken coop. You guys pissed me off for some reason or another.
Luca rolled his eyes with realization.
No, you didn't.
Iggy stifled a chuckle.
Yep. I just wanted to give you guys a little scare. Like I said, these were some primo fireworks. So I might have underestimated things. You blew up the chicken coop. My liking for this character has increased. I prefer to think of it as an incendiary redecoration. I like that. Incendiary redecoration. Sorry, but you should have seen the looks on your faces. Rolo got grounded for months. Which is why I needed to stash the evidence and lay low. So I buried them under the tree. But when I came back for them later, they were gone. I figured some grown-ups found them and tossed them.
Iggy triumphantly raised the shoebox.
Turns out it wasn't the fireworks that got moved. It was us. Unbelievable. Those are definitely going to come in handy. Do you think this is a game? Newsflash, boyo. You're not a hero. You're a little brat who is in way over his head. Hero is just someone who refuses to give up. I mean, to be fair, it's not wrong. Comics these days are rotting children's brains. Everyone thinks they're a spaceman superhero. I was always partial to Hank Atomic myself. Is that so? Do you really think you have a chance against us? You have no idea how powerful we are. Prepare for blast off, loser. No. I'm gonna ignore that hole for a minute, see if there's anything else we can do. Crooked. Just like the whole stinking place. And there's the word for whatever it is we're going to go do in a minute, because this is probably also going to cause the permanent freeze. I assume we're going to throw the fireworks in.
Luca and Iggy inched up to the edge of the hole with bewilderment in their eyes.
Yes, lights firework.
Arctic air breathed out of the cavern in heaving gusts.
Echo! 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 Whoa. I can see why they wanted to move us all out of town now. But why would they dig a giant hole? I think this is it. Is this the source? It's a dang hole. How do we smash a hole? Let me just screenshot that. Fucking hell. I'm a bit of an expert. Oh, he's caught up. Oh, it's much more than that, my annoying little friend. Kerr, where's Rolo? I wasn't lying before, he's safe. Well, safer than you two at least. Drat, it's cold. You just had to drag me all the way out here, didn't you?
Mr. Kerr gazed down the abyss in contemplation.
It really is something, isn't it? What did you do to our town? What is all of this? Well, that's a doozy of a question. This is the source, where they collected the unrefined...
Kerr scratched the back of his head.
Honestly, boys, I don't understand any of this well enough to explain it. Fact of the matter is, I'm not paid to know. What do you mean you don't know? Ain't you in charge? Oh, heavens no. My role is merely to flash a winning smile and manage various complications. Complications like us. You are a smart boy.
His face contorted into a saccharine grin.
It really is nothing personal. Some people are destined to strive for greatness, and others are simply obstacles along the way. Seems like you were destined to be a creepy lackey. The point is that we all play our part in life. Mine just happened to be a lead in the role of a lifetime. And you happen to be extras ready for your curtain call. Get the fuck off, bitch. We aren't giving up without a fight. Smile's not going to be so winning after we're done with you. Now, boys, there's no need for melodrama. It makes even a professional such as myself embarrassed for you. Let's change the mood a bit.
Kerr snapped his fingers.
Scene change. There, that's better. Deal with them.
Iggy turned to Luca with a sly glance.
Why are you smirking? Because I have a box full of fireworks and you don't.
Iggy waved the box into the air, threatening to drop it down the hole.
Stop! Let's not do something regrettable. Joke's on you, regret is one of my specialities. I'm assuming at this point Grandma's bombs are already down there and that's what's gonna... Look, fireworks are going to set off the bombs. Out of curiosity, what would happen if I threw these in your precious hole? You know what they're doing with this wording, I swear to God. Nothing. Nothing at all. You're a terrible liar. I'll have you know, I'm an exceptional liar. That's far enough.
Iggy plucked a single bottle rocket from the box and held it up with reverence.
Stop, you fool! Fall off your goons.
After a long pause, Mr. Kerr flung up his hand with frustration.
Very well. You can all head back for the night. It's been a long day. I'll handle these two from here. Well, you know he's still going to send the
Mr.
rocket
Kerr
down.
sighed into the frigid air.
It's just us now, Iggy. You can put that down. What, like this?
With a nonchalant flick, Iggy tossed the firework into the hole.
Oops, dropped it.
With a growl, Kerr leapt at Iggy, crashing through Luca. Iggy tried to twist away, but in the
Whoops.
struggle they both tumbled over the side. Luca dove forward, bracing Iggy's hand just before it slipped. His grip was made precarious by the cold, wet snow. He could see Kerr further down, clinging to Iggy's coat.
You reckless child, what have you done? Luca, listen to me. Hold on tight and use the walkie-talkie to call them back. What channel do I use? It doesn't make a damn difference, they're always listening. If you do that, the clipboards will just haul us up and snag us both. The only way you get out of this, I don't know why that came out like that, is if Kerr's out of the picture. Let go and save yourself. He lets go, we both die. Let's kick him in the face, what's the issue? I don't want to die, but seeing the look on your face almost makes it worth it. Mr. Kerr, you've had a long life. Wow. Fucking hell. Why don't you actually do something selfless? Just let go.
Mr. Kerr gasped with insult.
I want something. Long life? Have you know I can still play 25? No, you can't. You should have heard me sing the part of Phileas Young.
With a wild look in his eye, Mr. Kerr began to hum a proud melody.
Fucking hell. Wow, can you believe this guy? Who knew words?
Luca's hand began to cramp. His voice began to crack.
Just let go. No can do. If you want to save your friend, you'll have to save me too. Luca, look at me. It's okay.
Luca felt Iggy loosen his grasp.
You aren't going to kill your friend like that, are you?
Every muscle
I'm not sure he's
in
going to give
Luca's
me the
body
option.
burned.
I'm not his friend. Yes, you are. I'm just a no-good bully. Like you, Kerr.
Luca felt his hand slipping.
And I told you what you need to do with bullies. Can't. It's your only way out of this mess. Two birds with one stone. It makes sense for us to fall together. Wackadoos travel in packs.
A calm
Obsessed with
settled
the word
over Iggy's
wackadoo.
face.
Luca, let me do this.
Iggy's voice was colder
Let me
than
just
the
remind
bitter
people,
air billowing from the
Kids in this
chasm.
are like 12. Iggy is 12. Let me do the right thing for once. Oh, this is another branch. Luca had no choice but to... accept
Luca
Iggy's
had
request.
no choice but to accept Iggy's request. With a quiet blink, Luca watched a teardrop sail down into the howling void. As his fingers slowly gave up, he met eyes with Iggy.
Good. Hi! He's still holding those rockets, isn't he?
The two silhouettes were swallowed by darkness.
Yep. Damn, that was a lot of rockets in one box. Hell of a goodbye, Iggy. Oh, hello, Nat. Luca, you should really step back. Jesus, it feels about as cold in here as it looks on there. What? Quickly! Curious, it didn't do the full freeze. Ah, but of course! Those fireworks of Iggy's must have been just the right amount of energy. We should get out of here before perennial harvest arrives. Not until you tell me what just happened. Your friend's sacrifice just saved this town. For a little while, anyway. How? Tempus liquamine is a peculiar substance. It can change the relationship between matter and time itself. But doing so requires unfathomable energy. In a closed system, that energy can only come from its surroundings. The useful side product of this property being, by adding precisely the correct amount of energy to it, one can create a cryogenic cascade. But the gunk makes things cold and the fireworks made the whole freeze over. One way of putting it, yes. As dumb luck would have it, the fireworks weren't strong enough to generate a runaway reaction. Shudder to think what would have happened in that case.
We have some idea what that would look like.
Yeah, we have some idea. It's been triggered about 7 times now, where the whole town is froze over. It will take them a good while to safely break through and access the source again. If you know all of this stuff, why haven't you been helping? I have been, in my way. Each one of us has our own role to play. Iggy's role, it turns out, was to buy us precious time. Mine has been to observe and wait. Wait for what? You. Me? Why? What's my role?
A fierce twinkle flashed in Nat's eyes.
I read that faster than she said it, and I read a fierce winky. How does that work? Luca Van Horn, you are going to save the world. No pressure.
With a chuckle, Nat turned and walked west. Dumbfounded, Luca followed behind him, trudging through the snow. Every step taking him further away from everyone and everything he knew.
If we get to another
and
dead end, we'll
closer
go back and see what
to
Refuse does.
destiny. To be continued in Beacon Pines, Pines Harder. Revenge served cold. Second time's a charm? Wait, that's it? This ends with a crummy cliffhanger just when it was getting good? I was even starting to like Iggy. No way.
That's a
I
dead end.
refuse to be
We'll go back and do
associated
another
with
one.
some never-ending parade of sequels. Let's go back and find something more definitive. Luca
Refuse.
had no choice but to refuse Iggy's request. He
also have the other
tightened
two
his
words that
grip
we-
and reached for the walkie-talkie in his pocket. A wild delight crept onto Mr. Kerr's face. That's a good lad. Now, radio for help. Iggy begged Luca with his eyes one last time, but Luca pressed the button and called out. We need help. Mr. Kerr is in danger. It wasn't long before they were once again surrounded by clipboards. Mr. Kerr sighed with relieved frustration. There you are. You really are a worthless lot, aren't you? Mirror, now. A clipboard dutifully produced an ornate ivory hand mirror, and Mr. Kerr began preening his tousled hair.
God's sake.
Ah, that's better. Mr. Van Horn, I applaud your sharp thinking under duress. I'll put in a good word for you with the founder. Take them away.
The founder?
A swarm of hands overpowered Luca. The last thing he saw before a cloth bag was pulled over his head was the defeated look on Iggy's face. The end. I think this was one of those times where doing the right thing was the wrong thing.
I feel like this is a good spot to stop because A, I need the toilet. B, my throat's getting scratchy again. C, it means next time we have multiple things. Wait, we got 2 words, didn't we? I'm guessing it's just not for any of the paths we've got yet. It means we can go up there. Wait, what was that bit? Ah, when we were trying to stop Grandma from blowing us up. Maybe don't call the people who need to save your life worthless. Yeah, we'll leave this here. We got a good chunk more done. We got some more words ready for next time, but my throat is not happy with the amount of reading and talking. Oh shit. I just almost went to go and close OBS by mistake. That's not what I wanted. Swear to Christ. Like, every time I look at anywhere on this part of my hair, it's doing something weird. But yeah, we're going to switch to some DBD. If anyone is in chat that would like to Swift and do some Survivor with me, let me know before I get back from the toilet. And we'll Swift. Otherwise, I'm going to do some killer to finish. Or at least some killer, because we've got the killer challenges from the new tome page to do. Dead Boy Daylight. New tome, who did? Actually, what have I got? What did I schedule in for the rest of the week? Can we fit Beacon Pines in anywhere